Welcome, dear listeners, to today's informative guide on the art of household budgeting. Today we will explore the essential steps to creating a realistic and effective budget, as well as discuss the targets for savings. So, let us embark on this journey of financial empowerment, ensuring our economic well-being and securing a brighter future. The first crucial step in creating a household budget is to determine your income. This includes all sources of funds such as salaries, bonuses, investments, and any other regular monetary inflow. It is crucial to record your income accurately to have a clear understanding of your financial foundation. Remember, honesty and accuracy are key. You can download spreadsheets from the links we provide to help you carry out this task. If you are liking our content, smash the like button and subscribe. Maybe hit the bell so you can keep up with more content we provide. Once you have a clear picture of your income, it's time to turn our attention to expenses. This step requires honest reflection and record keeping. List all regular expenditures, including bills, groceries, transportation, and even those little indulgences. This will provide a comprehensive overview of your spending habits and patterns. Categorizing expenses is the next logical step. Organize your expenses into different categories such as fixed costs, rent bills, variable costs, groceries, transportation, debt repayments, savings, and discretionary spending. This will help in creating a more manageable and organized budget. Honesty is the key to this job. If you are not honest about your expenses, a budget means nothing at all. You must use the evidence. You can gain this from bank accounts and credit card apps. You can examine your shopping receipts. You can look at what it costs for travel or expenses. Think like an accountant. It's just a matter of what's being earned minus what is being spent each month. Don't make it a chore. If you, for example, you pay everything by credit card and your income comes from money you receive in your bank, then you have a quick overview of what's going out versus what's coming in. You just lack the details. It is the details that will then help you save the money by looking at what you are spending it on. That's why we need categories. Now that we have a clear understanding of income and expenses, let's discuss setting targets for savings. It is recommended to follow the 50-30-20 rule. Allocate 50% of your income towards essential expenses, 30% toward personal expenses, and the remaining 20% for savings and investments. Saving for emergencies is critical. Aim to create an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months' worth of your essential expenses. This will provide a safety net during unforeseen circumstances, securing your financial future. Another crucial element of budgeting is managing your debts. Prioritize high-interest debts such as credit cards and loans for repayment. Minimizing interest payments will free up funds and accelerate debt clearance. Create a plan to pay off debts while ensuring you have enough for your essential expenses and savings. Remember, a budget is a living document that requires constant adjustment and refinement. Track your actual spending regularly and compare it to your planned budget. This will help identify areas where you can cut back, redirecting those funds towards essential expenses or savings. There's another way to do a budget that isn't as simple. It's called double-entry bookkeeping. Now, I mention this here because it's like having a computer upgrade. If you use double-entry bookkeeping, you can gain insights into your personal finances. It's like putting them on a whole new level and applying a system to them that accountants could interpret. Then again, you might prefer the simple household budget. The main thing to note is that with you will gain an understanding of your finances to allow you to put some aside as savings. That is the point of why you are listening to this video. Creating a household budget is a powerful tool that allows you to take control of your financial well-being. By understanding your income sources, tracking expenses, setting realistic targets for savings, prioritizing debt repayments, and allowing flexibility for adjustments, you can build a strong foundation for a more secure financial future. Let's now look at the targets you should try to set individually. I would suggest you should try to save 3 times your current income. Whatever it takes to do that, over whatever period you choose to do it, that is your goal. Once you have that, it becomes your emergency fund. You should only ever use that if you need it. A second target needs to be an investment fund. It should be around $6,000 or pounds sterling or similar in euros. This will provide you the means to invest, which is going to be a topic that makes this channel the most important one you're going to tune into. So if you like what I'm saying, smash the like button now and subscribe. Why do you need to save to invest? Why not just go into debt and then invest that? Well, that's the old way of doing things before the Ukraine war, before the 2009 crash. That's when money was cheap. Now money is expensive. Think about the interest rates, for example. Most of the financial gurus out there think you can magic money from thin air by going into debt and then paying that back. It's the principle of business in the Western world. But stop, look around you. How many businesses are barely surviving? We build our businesses like Trump builds his skyscrapers, on rocks, not on sand. Remember, you can only invest money if you have spare money to invest. It's not rocket science. It's the first principle of Adam Smith, whom in 1776 first outlined the nature of capitalism. So embrace the art of budgeting, cultivate healthy spending habits, and make wise financial choices. Remember, each small step towards a well-structured budget is a step towards financial freedom. The magic of money isn't a means to make money fast. It's a slow process of investing enough and compounding it. We need to relearn what we probably forgot in school. It's called compound interest. What we need is enough starting capital to make that double over a set period of time. Let me tell you a good example. A boss came to me and said, if you work out how to solve this problem for us, I will pay you a bonus however you want me to. So I said, okay, pay me like this. Pay me 1 cent today, 2 cents tomorrow, and 4 the next, and so on, doubling my cents each day for 30 days. I watched his face light up. Well, that's cheap, he said, and walked away very pleased with himself. The calculation goes something like this. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128, and so on, which at first doesn't seem very much. However, by day 30, I have $10.6 million. Any percentage rise can be expressed as a doubling time. This doubling time is easy to work out. All you do is take the percentage rate you are told you might gain and divide it into the number 70. For example, if you are told you will get 7% per year, then you know that 70 divided by 7 is 10. So you will obtain double the amount you have now in 10 years. Similarly, if you were told you will gain 2% per year, you will double what you have in 35 years, because 70 divided by 2 is 35. Clearly, higher rates lower the doubling time, lower ones lengthen it. What we need always to do is to find banks that maximize our interest rates. The highest rates are the best rates possible. Now you have that, remember, this is the first step towards financial freedom. Search for a bank that pays you the highest interest rate possible. Thank you for joining us today. We wish you all the best on your journey towards achieving a balanced and prosperous household budget. Join us again for more content on saving to invest. Also, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us so much.